Welcome to another episode of Dinner at Lola. I'm your host, Jay Lee, and I'm excited because we got good food that Carter made for us, but I'm also even more excited because everybody on the show, they are good friends of mine, and I really admire them and appreciate them. I want to start with Kevin Daniels. Mr. Juilliard is what they call him in the streets. Someone I wish I looked like. He's doing great things. Mr. Trevor Jackson.
What's up, what's up?
Audra Mae, love you so much. Thank you for coming.
I love you too, Jay.
You can tell me you love me.
And my good dear friend, Mr. Jason Clark.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
I'm gonna start with Audra. The first sort of real movie I wrote and directed, a movie called Naked Eye. She was extremely kind enough to let me use her music for. And by the time we, got into the editing bay, it lined up perfectly, and it literally makes the movie. So,
I was so flattered.
No, it was great.
I was so flattered. I'm always flattered. I mean, I'm flattered about everything. I'm easy to flatter. We'll put it that way.
I'm easy to flatter.
But also, I mean, when different mediums come together and somebody, it wasn't, I can relate to the whole feeling of like, I don't want to use some stock thing because it's going to take away from what I made. It needs to like make it, I feel the same way about instruments sometimes, like I don't want to put that in there because it's going to make all that other stuff sound not like what I'm trying to say.
Right. How many instruments do you play?
I'm not like a virtuoso or anything, but I can pretty much pick up anything. The key is to not feel like you have to learn it.
Right.
Or like you should be good at it right now. You just pick it up and fuck around with it.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah, you just play around with it.
Sure.
Do you ever play any instruments growing up?
A little bit of guitar and
Yeah?
conga drums and.
Do you ever write a song?
My mother's boyfriend was this Puerto Rican ex-con that she lived with for 13 years, so he's my stepfather.
Oh wow.
This guy, and so he was a conga player, Puerto Rican conga player. So he taught me to play the drums. Really? And my brother was a guitarist, so we used to jam at home and that kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself practicing dance moves as you maneuver through New York?
Absolutely.
Like, do you ever come up with mistakes?
Yes, I feel like I hear sound, because I tap too.
Do you?
Oh, you tap?
Yeah, I tap dance.
How did you learn how to tap?
I started tapping when I was 3, man. 3 years old, this is what my mom says, I don't remember this, but she says I was like flipping off the couch like a Ninja Turtle that she would use. Hence the tattoo I'm about to get everybody. I'm kidding. But no, so she said that she took me to like this gymnasium and they were like tapping in one of the rooms and I saw it and I was like, I want to do that. And then started doing it, watched Savion Glover and Gregory Hines. And that's how I got into acting and everything else. Was
Oh my
just
God, that must have been the cutest thing on the planet.
Just him
Can you imagine him like watching, because Gregory Hines was always on Sesame Street and stuff,
Yes.
do you remember?
I do remember.
Did you try? I always tried to do it too.
No, Gregory
I was clumsy
Trying to
then
do
too.
the windmills.
I was clumsy then too. I never could quite get it, but I appreciate the talent.
That's so cool.
He's amazing. Great guy.
Are you still good?
Yeah, I think.
Are you gonna make him tap?
It's been a minute. No, it's been a minute, bro. I stopped for like 7, 8 years, but I just recently picked it back up like 2 weeks ago. I took
word.
like 2 classes.
And you sing.
That's so funny, man. I have little problems with pitch, melody, tune, lyrics.
Right.
Other than that, I'm really great.
Right. If you took that away.
All of that.
Don't you want to share that? Don't you want to share any kind of warm up with us now?
We're gonna have you do the little Juilliard tongue twister. Can you do that for us?
Sure.
We're gonna pick
It's
up
a
what
piece
Trevor
called,
did.
it was Trinidad is what it was called, but it's
Okay.
Trinidad and the big Mississippi and the town Honolulu and the lake Titicaca. The Popoca capital is not in Canada, rather in Mexico, Canada, Malago, Remini, Brindisi, Canada, Malago, Remini, Brindisi, Canada, Malago, Remini, Brindisi, yes. For they'll beat a tattoo at 20 with a rat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat-a-tat, and the dragon will come when he hears the drum at a minute or two to two today, at a minute or two to two. Synonym, 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 synonym. Unique New York, unique New York. You know you need unique New York. You know you need unique New York. Whoa, 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 wow. Whoa, 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 wow. Whoa, 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 wow.
Yeah.
That's it. 100,000 hours later, you too can do the Trinidad versus speech.
I met Trevor when he was literally like 12. And Trevor he looked like a little kid. He was a 12-year-old
I was
kid.
in a rock band.
He was in a rock band.
I was in like it was called Impact. That was it.
Wow. So you were like in boy bands when boy bands were cool?
No.
And it just stopped.
It was not cool at all.
It wasn't cool.
They were talented, very talented.
And there was a event that they were booked for just to, because it was for
Charity-
kids.
charity.
It was a charity event for kids, and this band comes out, and he had this song called Mistaken Identity. And at the time, my old writing partner and I had written this movie called Mistaken Identity. And then the next time I saw him, he's like this tall, good looking, got some facial hair, got muscles. Like all the little girls love him. And it felt like it was an overnight thing. But it wasn't, of course. So you said you're working on some new music now too, right?
Oh, a lot of new music, bro. I'm working on a visual right now, but I have like 2 projects. Because it's been so long since I put out music. Last year was the last time. So I'm putting out 2 albums, you know, kind of like near the same time. And then the Burning Sands is going to Sundance in January, so I'm like super excited about that. It's like
really?
first lead I've ever been in like an independent film. So, and then somebody else was supposed to do it, and I just randomly ended up falling into it. And then he was like, "Yo, this is our movie, and it's going to Sundance." So I'm thankful, bro.
Yeah, in
it's
January.
good stuff.
Bravo.
Yeah, in January.
Fantastic. I did a cameo in this movie called Bitch. That was produced by Josh Waller and Spectravision and those guys. And I got maybe 3 lines, whatever. And I was always like, I always want to go to Sundance, never gone, but I only go if I'm in the movie. They're like, the movie got in. I was like, I got 3 lines, I can still go. And I was like, all right. So
That's it.
Have you not been yet?
This year?
I've never been yet this year. I'll go this year.
Congratulations.
So I'll see you up there. Let's kick it.
I'm doing another movie with these guys. It's called The Devils, and it's Ethan Embry and Jason Ritter, who's the star of Bitch. And like but we were supposed to be shooting the same time that Sundance is happening. But I'm pretty sure he don't want to
You
go.
can get away. You can get away for a weekend.
Exactly. I'm
You
pretty
need
sure.
to go. You need to go.
I want to see what that is. And
You know what? It revitalizes your love for what you do.
Oh, great.
Because it's a very creative environment. Nobody's there for the money.
Right.
Everybody's there because artistically they love what they do. And you get to socialize with those people in that mood. So it's not the mood of, it's the mood of, hey, people like our movie. Hey, people like what we do. Right. And there's all kinds of artists there. It's really a great experience.
Do you go to Sundance all the time, or do you not go anymore?
Not lately. I used to go a lot.
You have
I used
to go
make
this year, bro.
independent films.
You have to
gotta
go
go
in
this year.
January.
Yeah, I'll try.
You have to make it out.
Shooting.
Yeah, what are you shooting?
Orville. So are you. It's set 400 years in the future. And we're, humankind has solved all of our problems that we have with technology and creating a world that is kind of semi-utopian, not utopia, but a place where good things happen, and yet we're still the same people we are today. So we have all of those foibles. So there's a lot of humor. It's a 1-hour drama, and Jay Lee's one of the stars of the show.
That's so great.
You're sort of the main producer now for all of Seth MacFarlane stuff and Fuzzy Door.
My job is to create an environment where artists can succeed. So as much as possible, if I can forecast where there's going to be things that create roadblocks or problems to them being able to be creative, and my job is to kind of get rid of those. So I'm not a fireman. I don't wait till there's a fire and then put it out. My job is to make sure there's never a fire.
Yeah,
so everybody's comfortable.
that's how everybody should do their job.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But I remember when I first met Jason. I'll tell the story real quick. I had written this project. I wanted Seth to be in it, to do this like small little cameo. And I know, Seth has been on the show and he's one of my really good friends, but he's busy. So the idea of him actually reading a script is like, 10 to 1 or whatever. But anyway, he reads it, comes to me and he's like, wow, Jay, this is really good. I want you to meet my producer, Jason Clark. It's a lot of no's in this industry.
Yeah, oh,
It's a
absolutely.
lot of hurdles, right? So when you come into somebody who's as successful as Jason Clark and Seth MacFarlane, he did TED, he did TED 2, big time producer, and I'm sitting there with this little small indie budget movie, and he doesn't laugh at it. He's like, yeah, now we got a date. Let's figure it out,
What guides you to make something like?
It's really hard. I mean, working with Seth, he's so brilliant, and he'll determine what he wants to do. And as a producer, the joy there is that a lot of it is going to be driven by his passion. So when I'm working with him on his projects, it's about what he wants to do. But if I'm working as a producer for the company, for Fuzzy Door, which is his company, and we're always looking for new stuff, obviously there's kind of a history of what's been done in the past, whether that's the TED movies or Family Guy, American Dad, the new series that we're working on, Cosmos. But I'm always looking for an original voice, looking for something that doesn't feel like I've seen it before, looking for something that that's a challenge where we can create in the medium, whether that's television or film. I mean, Ted was an R-rated comedy starring a CG character, and it hadn't been done before. You've got 1,500 visual effects shots in the center of what appears to be an R-rated comedy that has extemporaneous dialogue and repartee between two characters, one of which is never there. Wow. So how do you create that? That to me was a great challenge. Like, how can you create a comedy that feels improvisational, that feels like two guys in a room, when one of them is never there? He's a CG character, and it takes months to build him. So finding those kind of challenges I like, and then bringing that. The reason it hasn't been done in R-rated comedy, or hadn't been done in R-rated comedy, because it's a very expensive technique.
Right.
So, like, how do you break that mold and come up with a way to do it for less? Those challenges excite me.
We had Charles Murray on the show the other day, who, of course, worked on Sons of Anarchy. And I was watching that show, and I heard your voice, because you have a very, 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 very distinctive voice. And I was excited, because I was like, oh, I've worked with Audra. All of a sudden, it somehow legitimized my career. Yeah. But how did that come about?
One day, my publisher called me, and they said, listen, there's this show. It just came on the air. It's like this motorcycle show. And if you are into it, they're looking for someone to come and sing this Bob Dylan song. And they want somebody who's like a little bit country, but like a little bit soul.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's a perfect way to sort of describe your sound. Your sound.
That's
Yeah, no
absolutely
pressure,
your
right? No
sound.
pressure. So I thought, okay. And it was just one of the many times that the thing that was like holding me back, keeping me safe, protecting me from the crazy people, was that I wasn't just one thing. I could never just be one part of myself. Like, I'll just be this finger. You know what I mean? Sure. So they called me. I went in. I was like, all right. And it was Forever Young. And the music guy, Bob Thiel, said, okay, we want to do 2 different versions, and we'll see which one Kurt Sutter likes, and we'll use that one. So we did an a cappella one, and we did one that was sort of Americana, bluegrass, easy, chill. And he liked him so much, he bookended the episode with it. Wow. Yeah, and the next day I woke up, and it was back in the MySpace days. Which was beneficial because you could count how many people had been to your page or listened to your stuff. It would show you. And every day it was 10,000 new people, 10,000 new hits every day. That song, that cover was, it changed everything for me. All of a sudden, someone wanted to give me, an indie record deal and put me on tour and all that stuff. Like,
really?
Yeah,
wow.
Isn't that so weird how that works? Like, you were the same person your whole life.
Sure.
And you tried to tell them, hey, listen, I'm great. I got it. You want me? Put me in, coach. And then eventually they're like,
realness.
They don't have a
Story.
choice.
We've been trying to tell you.
You just go, yeah. But I really mean that. I really think that I was like protected from crazy things by not being so on the nose.
I totally hear that. I think that it's crazy, especially in the music industry or entertainment industry in general. Everything is so categorized, but musically especially. And I feel like they expect artists to make one type of music, but like you're saying, you're not just your one finger. There's so many sides of you, so many complexities. Like, we're constantly evolving, we're constantly growing as people. So
and
any
I think
music,
in any art, there's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
There's the people that the thrill they get from it is the feeling they get when they do it, or making it happen, making it real, or connecting with people.
Right.
And some people, the thrill they get from it is the race, the challenge, the competition.
Oh, right.
Either way, it makes great art.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You just have to figure out which one of those you are, and then work your butt.
I've never heard it put that way. That's actually really.
It is. I love your point of view.
It makes great art.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Either way, it only makes bad art when someone's trying to be the one that they're not.
And to the idea that not fitting that mold, when you put things together, it feels fresher for people who, and they're evolving just like you are as an artist. Your audience is evolving. So I think when you do something and kind of stretch yourself and combine your interests, you begin to find your voice as an artist.
Absolutely.
And actually, this kind of segues into you a little bit. You've done a sort of wide array of different sort of roles, from theater to TV to film.
Workman, journeyman.
Yeah.
And talk about that a little bit, because
It's interesting. I just turned 40 a couple of days ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I feel like on the road to that, suddenly there's this wisdom that came, because I rather to write the bio for the show, I was kind of listing some credits that I've been in, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, it's kind of what you had said earlier. 12-year-old me would be like, dude, you've had a career. You got to work with who? You did that, you did this. And yet I was sitting there, you know, like crying and bemoaning about like, oh, but it's not good enough. I'm not here, I'm not there, I'm not on this.
Yeah, that's what got you there.
And that's, you know, but it's one of those things where you're like, you're constantly, you can, sometimes you can allow yourself to constantly get caught up in a result. Or like what they, as opposed to just enjoying what the journey is and where you're gonna be here. And I feel like I love my career now that I've looked at it. I'm like, you know, I'm a character actor and I get to, and people can't necessarily pigeonhole me into one thing. And I love that. And I love to be able to kind of like,
great.
you know, I found that I had a facility for comedy. You know what I mean? I had like, but I did drama for years. You know, that's all I did. And I was like, oh, I can do both things. You know, and people are like, I don't know where to put you, Kevin. Right. Wherever you want to put me. I'm an actor. I'm an actor, and let me rise to the occasion, and then go out and do new things and talk to people, and also try to live a life outside of my art, so I can have something that informs it, something that I can actually do. You know, and that's you just kind of pull from it.
Your art came here with you, and it's going.
And it's going there with you.
It's the one thing that will never leave you, and not everybody gets born with that.
Yeah, man.
It's beautiful to listen to you three because you're all like, no, but seriously, because for me, you know, I want to materialize those artistic visions for people. You know, I see my job as lighting the way. We're on a rocky, bumpy road at night, and I have a flashlight. And if that flashlight gives you guys the ability to kind of come to that place that you're going as artists, that to me is my thrill.
But you were talking about being the train in the station. We were talking about how do you get projects moving.
The metaphor that I think of all the time when trying to create something from nothing, which is, you know, you put imagination down on paper and you have it. And I always think of like, you know, you're standing in a train station, and you got your script, and you're waiting for that train to come that's going to pick you up and take you away with that script, and it never arrives. Or you can be the moving train. So you can take that script and start to build towards something, even though you don't have money, you don't have the resource you need to do it, but you act as if.
My mom used to say a story like that. She'd tell me about how while you're waiting for your ship to come in, make sure you sent one out to begin with. It's like, I was like, all right.
I just learned that Audra didn't bring her guitar. It's tough being an artist too, because people will ask you to do
stuff all the time.
I would say, like, growing up playing piano, the sort of saving grace I had is I don't have a piano on me all the time. Right. But what my mother would do, and I sort of oddly developed a complex about playing in front of people, because I played classical music, and growing up in St. Louis, it was like, oh, the little black kid who plays classical, right? And my mother, because what she would do is, she said, hey, Jay, you know, will you play that one piece I love? And I'd sit down and play some Chopin piece. And then she'd go, I want the neighbors to hear you. And we lived in this apartment complex. And the next thing I know, I'll be playing, I'll look up, and literally everyone in the apartment complex is like crammed into the door watching me play. And I would just get up and go in the back room. And my mom would come back and she said, why'd you do that? And I said, I don't want to play for them.
She just wanted you to share your gift, man.
She did, and it took me a while to get that, but also I had to develop, and this sort of goes back to the theme of really sitting in your light of who you are and what you want to do.
See, I'm your mom in that way, because I when I see talent and I see people, things that take like incredible skill, like, you know, singing, writing your own songs, tap dancing, doing singing, like you see these people, it becomes an aphrodisiac, but it's also you're just so like impressed by it. I'm like, please share that.
She got to see, you can't see what's happening to the room.
Right.
And she can stand back and see you use your power in a way that makes everybody go, what is that? And by the way, no big deal. I was playing some Chopin piece, whatever. I was just playing a Chopin piece. My mom was like, I want the neighbors to know how awesome you are. Right. But serious, can you imagine like in a crowded room standing back and just watching everybody be so proud of her son? I can't even imagine what that feeling must be like. I don't have kids. That must be incredible.
Your new music is coming out when?
Top of the year at some point. And the film is in January.
So you got it. That's a big 2017 coming
Yeah,
up.
man, it's exciting, bro. Just thankful. Just want to continue.
I want to get something right now. What do I get?
But me, it's hard when you make new stuff. You don't want the old stuff. I'm like,
What you mean, man? Now
It like burns my ears when I listen to old music.
I just told you he's a legit fan.
But In My Feelings is the last album I put out.
In My
on
Feelings?
iTunes, yeah.
It's on iTunes?
I'm getting it.
And right now, again, you got everything going.
Going to shoot a pilot in January and then go on to do the rest of the series with Seth, and then developed a book called The Long Road Home, which is an Iraq War battle story that we're going to start shooting in March.
I started working on a couple of new shows that come out next year. John Lithgow has this new comedy on NBC called Trial and Error, and I have a recurring guest on that. It's a really funny show. And then I just started working on a show called Atypical, which is a new Netflix series, and I have a little recurring on that.
But we got to get to you.
Yeah.
No, I know.
You know what? I've been making this album of love songs because I don't think there's any love songs anymore. It's kind of like a sad, weird thing that's happening right now where like falling in love or being in love is considered the opposite of success in some way. Like that the idea is to, well, that we define success as never having to do anything ever again, never having to have to experience even mild unpleasantness, you know? And so I have one I could sing maybe a little bit of.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Come here to me. Come lay down your nightmares, your woes and your fears at my feet. Come here to me. We thought we were dying all the while we were growing like weeds. Come here to me. There's something so tender about it. So why do we go living without it? Come here to me.
Come on, love. Come on,
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. That was really beautiful. That is the end of our show, but I have something for you guys. It's a gift. It's not really for you, it's for you to re-give. These are little goodie bags given to us by a good friend of the show, The Peg Effect. Their motto is to empower through the cycle of giving. And in it, it's a month's supply of necessities and toiletries and things of that nature that people, who might need a little hand.
That's great.
You can just give it to them, but you can buy these, pegeffect.org, keep them in your car. And if you pull up, you see somebody who might need something, you know what I mean?
Wow.
You just
Such
give
a
it to them.
great idea.
That's a great time.
That's
So,
great.
and we need it, yeah.
Man.
But no, this was awesome, guys, and I'm glad you guys were able to come and meet each other.